You think you're starving. You're not. You're just uncomfortable. Your stomach growls and suddenly you act like it's an emergency. It isn't. It's a signal. And signals are not commands. The moment you decide to eat once a day, you step into a fight most people never dare to enter. Not a fight with food, a fight with yourself. For years, you've trained your body to expect constant feeding. Morning snack, lunch, afternoon cravings, late night bites. You don't eat because you're dying. You eat because it's time, because you're bored, because you're stressed, because it's there. And the brutal truth? Your body adapted to that weakness. It became dependent on frequent sugar spikes, predictable insulin surges, steady streams of easy energy. The moment you remove that pattern, everything inside you begins to react. Right after your one meal, insulin rises. Glucose enters the bloodstream. Cells absorb energy. You feel satisfied, calm, stable. For a few hours, everything feels normal, safe, but beneath that calm surface, a clock has started ticking. Your body is processing the fuel you gave it, digesting, absorbing, storing what it doesn't need. This is the comfort zone, and comfort is where growth goes to die. Within the first 4 hours, digestion is active. Nutrients circulate. Blood sugar rises and falls in a controlled wave. You feel fine, maybe even proud. But here's the first shocking truth. Most of your previous meals were not necessary. They were repetitive, automatic, emotional. You weren't fueling performance. You were feeding habit, and habit feels like survival when it's threatened. As the hours pass, insulin begins to decline. Your body shifts away from immediate glucose burning. Glycogen, stored in your liver and muscles, becomes the next fuel source. You don't notice it consciously. There's no dramatic alarm. But internally, a transition has begun. Your system is moving from constant supply mode to strategic reserve mode, and this is where discomfort starts creeping in. Between hour 4 and 8, your blood sugar dips lower than your old routine would allow. This is when cravings rise, headaches might appear, irritation, brain fog. You interpret it as weakness, as proof you need food. But what's really happening is adaptation. Glycogen stores are being tapped. Insulin is low enough to unlock stored energy. Fat cells begin releasing fatty acids into the bloodstream. Your body is not shutting down. It is recalibrating. And this is where the second harsh realization hits. Most hunger you feel is conditioned. Your body expects food because you trained it to expect food. You eat at noon because the clock says noon. You snack at night because you always have. Remove the pattern and your system protests. Not because you're in danger, but because routine has been disrupted. You've confused habit with necessity your entire life. By hour 8 to 12, glycogen levels drop significantly. Your liver can't keep feeding you stored glucose forever, so your body looks elsewhere. Fat breakdown accelerates. Hormones adjust. Insulin remains low, which is critical. Low insulin unlocks stored energy. High insulin locks it away. When you eat constantly, insulin rarely drops low enough for meaningful fat burning. When you eat once a day, it finally does. Growth hormone levels begin to rise. This helps preserve lean muscle while you're fasting. Your body isn't stupid. It doesn't want to burn muscle first. It protects it. What it wants to burn is stored energy, and you likely have more stored energy than you think. But your mind doesn't care about these processes. It screams. It negotiates. It tells you this is extreme, unnecessary, dangerous. And here comes the third truth you won't like. You are not as fragile as you think. You've just been constantly comfortable. There's a difference. Somewhere around the 12-hour mark, a deeper metabolic shift begins. Ketone production slowly increases as fat becomes a primary fuel source. Your brain, which once relied heavily on frequent glucose hits, begins adapting to a steadier alternative. Energy may start to feel different. Not spiky, not dramatic, just stable, clear, controlled. This is where many people notice sharper focus, fewer crashes, less mental fog, and they're shocked. Because they've normalized instability for years. Eat, spike, crash, repeat. That roller coaster felt normal because it was familiar, but stability feels powerful. And here's the real takeaway buried in all of this. Eating once a day isn't just about food. It's about breaking automatic behavior. It's about teaching your body that discomfort isn't death. It's about lowering insulin long enough for your system to access what it already has stored. It's about metabolic flexibility, the ability to switch between fuel sources instead of being enslaved to one. You don't need constant feeding to survive. You need awareness. You need discipline. You need to stop reacting to every signal as if it's an emergency. Your body is adapting hour by hour. The only question is whether your mind is strong enough to adapt with it. Between hour 4 and 8, the real battle begins. Not in your stomach, in your head. The comfort from your last meal fades, blood glucose starts to decline, insulin continues to fall, your body quietly shifts from using incoming fuel to using stored fuel. And you interpret that shift as a problem. It isn't a problem, it's a transition. Glycogen stored in your liver becomes the primary energy source now. This is backup fuel, strategic reserve. Your body has been saving it for moments exactly like this. But because you rarely allow yourself to go this long without eating, you've barely trained this system. So when it activates, it feels unfamiliar. Unfamiliar feels threatening, and you immediately want relief. Cravings start whispering. Maybe louder than whispers. You think about food more often. Not because your body is collapsing, but because your dopamine circuits are restless. Eating has been your easiest reward, your fastest comfort. Remove it, and your brain demands compensation. Here's the harsh reality. What you call hunger is often withdrawal. Withdrawal from constant stimulation. Withdrawal from predictable sugar spikes. Withdrawal from emotional soothing disguised as nutrition. Your body is not in danger at hour 6, but your habits are, and habits fight back. Physiologically, something powerful is happening. As glycogen levels decrease, insulin drops low enough to unlock fat cells. Triglycerides begin breaking down into fatty acids. These fatty acids enter your bloodstream and become available for energy. This is the beginning of metabolic flexibility, the ability to switch from burning glucose to burning fat without panic. Most people never build this flexibility. They refuel before their body ever has to adapt. They snack before the shift. They interrupt the process every single time discomfort appears. And then they say their metabolism is slow. It's not slow. It's untrained. By hour 8 to 10, glycogen stores are significantly reduced. Your liver cannot keep releasing glucose at the same rate. This is where your system makes a more decisive move toward fat utilization. Fatty acid oxidation increases. Your body begins producing small amounts of ketones. Not full ketosis yet, but the door is opening. And here's the second shocking truth. Your body prefers stability over constant abundance. When insulin stays elevated all day from repeated meals, fat burning remains suppressed. When insulin drops for extended periods, your system regains access to stored energy. That stored energy exists for a reason. It is not decorative, it is functional. But instead of trusting that design, you override it with constant intake. Around hour 10 to 12, many people report a strange shift. The sharp hunger pangs that hit earlier begin to soften. Mental clarity can improve. Energy feels steadier. Why? Because your body has committed to the alternative fuel source. The awkward transition phase is ending. You thought you were crashing. In reality, you were adapting. Growth hormone levels increase during fasting. This supports tissue repair and helps preserve lean muscle mass while fat is being mobilized. Cortisol may rise slightly, helping release stored energy. These are not signs of breakdown. They are signs of mobilization. Your body is reorganizing resources. But the psychological resistance can still be loud. You may feel irritable, distracted, hyper-aware of food cues. That's not biology alone. That's conditioning. You've paired food with breaks, with comfort, with reward. Without it, you're forced to confront stillness. And stillness makes you uncomfortable. This is where most people quit, not because their body failed, but because they refuse to sit with temporary discomfort. They interpret every internal signal as a command that must be obeyed immediately. But signals are information, not orders. By hour 12, the metabolic shift is undeniable. Insulin is low. Fat oxidation is active. Ketone production is rising. Your body is running on stored fuel with increasing efficiency. The system you rarely allowed to function is finally doing its job. And here comes the third realization. You've underestimated your own resilience. You believed you needed constant input to function. But your body was built for fluctuation, built for periods of abundance and scarcity, built to store and release, built to adapt. What weakens you is not fasting. It's constant indulgence without pause. The takeaway here is simple but uncomfortable. Hunger is not an emergency. It is a phase, a wave, and waves pass if you don't panic. When you eat once a day, you force your metabolism to remember its original design. You teach it to access stored energy instead of demanding new supply every few hours. This is not about punishment, it's about retraining. If you can sit through hour 8 without folding, you build metabolic strength. If you can reach hour 12 without negotiating with every craving, you build psychological strength. And those two forms of strength feed each other. Your body is not breaking down during these hours. It is switching gears. The only question is whether you'll let it finish the shift or interrupt it the moment it feels uncomfortable. By hour 8 to 12, your body is no longer playing by the rules you're used to. Glycogen, the stored sugar that has been your safety net, is almost depleted. This is the moment your metabolism starts shifting from the familiar, addictive glucose-burning mode to fat as the primary fuel. And if you think this happens gently, think again. It feels uncomfortable because your body has been coddled. It hasn't been forced to work this hard for energy in years, maybe decades. Your mind screams at the signals your body is giving. Feed me now. But those signals are not emergencies. They are reminders that your system is powerful enough to take control of what's already inside you. At this stage, fat cells release fatty acids into the bloodstream. Your liver starts converting some of those into ketones, molecules that the brain can use as a clean, steady energy source. The transition isn't just chemical, it's mental. Your focus sharpens. Brain fog fades. The crashes and spikes you once mistook for normal energy are gone. You realize your mind works better when it's not constantly fueled by sugar and processed carbs. The realization hits hard. You've been addicted to feeding instability, thinking it was survival. Your body's hormones are recalibrating. Growth hormone surges, preserving muscle mass while fat burns. Cortisol, your stress hormone, increases just enough to mobilize energy, not destroy tissue. Your insulin levels remain low, opening the door for sustained fat oxidation. This is what metabolic flexibility looks like, the ability to switch between energy sources effortlessly, the capacity your body has been capable of all along but that you've suppressed with constant eating. The mental battle is still real. It's loud. Every past habit you have around food is trying to pull you back into comfort. You feel jittery, restless, impatient. The craving is not your enemy. It's your old conditioning fighting to survive. You were trained to respond to every hunger signal immediately. Now you're learning to sit with it, to watch it, to understand it. And here is a harsh truth. Your body is capable of adaptation far beyond what your mind allows. You've mistaken discomfort for danger for far too long. By the end of this period, you start noticing subtle shifts. Your energy is steadier. The tension in your stomach isn't panic, it's the system adjusting. Ketones rise, your brain stabilizes, and for the first time in years, your energy doesn't crash unpredictably. You may even feel a strange sense of clarity or calm, a side effect of your body finally accessing its stored energy without interference. And here comes the biggest realization of all. Your body doesn't need constant input. It's built to store, mobilize, and adapt. What you've been calling weakness is habit. What you've been calling hunger is opportunity. This period, hour 8 to 12, is the crucible where your resilience begins to form. If you fight through it, you'll discover that your body and mind are stronger than your cravings, stronger than your excuses, stronger than your comfort zone. This is where control begins. You aren't just burning fat. You are rewriting the rules of how your body responds to food. You are teaching it that it can survive and thrive without constant indulgence. You are showing yourself that discipline is a choice, not a punishment. By sitting with this discomfort, you are proving to yourself something brutal but liberating. Your life is not dictated by hunger. It's dictated by the choices you make in the face of it. The takeaway is sharp and undeniable. The moment you stop reacting, your body starts performing. Fat becomes fuel. Focus sharpens. Growth and repair accelerate. And the mental barriers you've built around food begin to crumble. This is no longer about starvation. It's about awakening, about seeing how powerful your body is when you stop letting habit run the show. At the end of hour 12, the shift is clear. Your body is running efficiently on what it already has stored. Your mind, if you resist the old conditioning, begins to see hunger as a signal of strength, not weakness. This is where transformation begins, not just of your metabolism, but of your entire relationship with discipline, focus, and self-control. The real battle has been internal all along, and you are finally winning it. By hour 12 to 16, the transformation inside your body becomes undeniable. Glycogen stores have been largely depleted. Your bloodstream has stabilized with low insulin levels, signaling your system to fully tap into fat as its primary energy source. Fatty acids are now circulating efficiently, and ketones are steadily rising, providing a clean, consistent fuel for your brain. Your energy no longer spikes and crashes. The chaos you once called normal is gone, replaced by calm focus. This is the point where your metabolism starts working like it was designed to: strategic, efficient, and self-reliant. Your body is no longer a slave to constant feeding. It's adapting, becoming resilient. Growth hormone is elevated, supporting muscle preservation and cellular repair. Your body is not starving, it is reorganizing. It's clearing the clutter and mobilizing its resources. And here's the brutal truth most people refuse to accept. Your body has been capable of this all along, you just never gave it the chance. Every time you grabbed a snack out of habit or boredom, you interrupted this natural efficiency. Every time you avoided discomfort, you denied your metabolism the opportunity to strengthen. Mentally, this is where the real battle intensifies. Your cravings are still present, but they're sharper, more insistent. Your mind has been conditioned to interpret hunger as a threat. It screams, "Feed now. You can't function without food." But that is the old programming trying to survive. The reality is your body is thriving. You are burning fat, releasing ketones, stabilizing blood sugar, and your energy is more consistent than it has been in years. You're discovering a mental clarity you didn't think existed because your brain is no longer caught in a cycle of sugar highs and lows. Discomfort in these hours isn't weakness, it's adaptation. The jitters, the impatience, the gnawing sense that you should eat are simply signals that your body is breaking free from dependency. Every moment you resist, you're rewiring your brain. You're proving that you can sit with challenge without surrendering to it. And here comes the second harsh truth. Most people never reach this stage because they quit at the first wave of discomfort. They let habit and fear dictate their choices. You, however, are witnessing the other side of that struggle: efficiency, clarity, and control. Autophagy, your body's internal cleanup system, starts ramping up during this period. Damaged cells are recycled, inflammation begins to decrease, and your system starts repairing itself. This isn't abstract science. It's your body reclaiming the power you've long suppressed. You are no longer constantly feeding, it's repairing instead. This is the internal strength that no external supplement or quick fix can replicate. It's real, tangible, and measurable in energy, focus, and resilience. By hour 16, you're learning a hard lesson. Hunger isn't the enemy. Your old patterns were. Constant eating kept you dependent. Constant indulgence kept your metabolism sluggish and your focus scattered. Now your system is liberated. You're burning stored fat, regulating hormones, enhancing focus, and activating repair mechanisms, all without another bite. You've become a master of patience, a controller of impulses. This period, hour 12 to 16, is where discipline proves its value. Your body is showing you the results of restraint. Your mind is seeing that discomfort is temporary and that clarity, focus, and energy come from sitting with it rather than running from it. The insight is brutal, but empowering. You've been stronger than your cravings all along. You just never tested it. The takeaway here is simple but transformative. The moment you stop negotiating with hunger, your body starts performing at its peak. Fat becomes fuel, energy stabilizes, focus sharpens, cellular repair accelerates, and you gain something most people never experience: a deep, undeniable awareness of your own resilience. This isn't about starvation. It's about realizing that your body can adapt, heal, and thrive when you stop letting habit and fear dictate your every meal. Hour 16 is a checkpoint. You've gone beyond mere survival. Your system is efficient, your mind is clear, and your will has been strengthened. The real shift isn't just physical, it's psychological. You've learned that you can face discomfort without giving in. You've discovered that your body thrives on restraint, and you've realized that every craving you resist strengthens you far more than every snack ever could. This is where true control begins, and where transformation moves from theory into reality.